welcome to Plant Magic Rising. Today, we're going to chat a little bit about propagation and kind of how to propagate, when things are ready for planting, etc. So joining us, we have this beautiful Philodrendron Brasil. So the first step in any propagation is to make sure that the plant you're propagating from is healthy. Now this one has very, very long vines. All of the vines in this one are pretty long. It also doesn't have like any pests, and it's been growing for over a year, I think. So it's totally usable to propagate. Now I have propagated from this one before, and so you can see right where I cut it, right here, you can see a new little leaf is coming out. So it's a new branch coming out right there. But this one looks perfect, so we're gonna use this one. So when you cut for propagation, what you wanna do is find the nodes. And this doesn't work for every plant, but it definitely works for these and pothos and other types of philodendron, is every leaf is gonna be coming out of a node. And so the node is where like roots sprout from, where the vine comes from. It's that active growth point. So when you propagate, you can either take single leaf cuttings, and so you can literally just take one leaf and then a new vine will sprout from that. Or you can take an entire vine and then just propagate the edge of the vine and then have the rest of it trailing. To show you what this looks like in the end, here's an example of one that I took a little vine cutting from. You can see it's growing a vine still. There's a new leaf on the end right there. It's also coming out from this side, so it's actually growing another little vine, which is pretty dope. These were single leaf cuttings. So this one is 2 single leaf cuttings, and you can see that there are active growth points on here, growing new little vines out of each one of those. Same thing with this one, both single leaf cuttings that I propagated and these new little growths in the middle. After you figure out if you want a single leaf cutting, so you grow from an entire single leaf, or if you want to already cut a little vine, that's when you look at your little vine here and you look at the nodes. Now you can see here that this one doesn't have a leaf on it, and so I'm gonna get, I'm just gonna take it from here. And so once you have this, you can see that there's a node here with no leaf, so a growth point can pop out of there. There's also another one right here. So what I'm actually gonna do is make this into 2 cuttings by just cutting in the middle right there. So I'm going to water propagate it, and I'm going to take it from this right here. This is where I want my roots to grow out of, and you can see that there is another leaf coming out. So that's cool. This one, literally, I'm just gonna pop this part in water, like probably all the way up to here though, just so we can get more roots. This is what happens when you water propagate. So you take those little cuttings like we had before, like these little cuttings, and you would put them in water. And that's it. You put them in water and make sure they're covered, and then change the water out every, couple of weeks or so. You'll start to see roots. Here is an example of one that I recently put in there. It does not have any roots yet. Well, it happens. Here is one with roots. And here's an example of leaving it in there for a while, and you can see a pretty big root system as well as a growth point. And so that growth point you see right there is one that had happened out of that same node. You can see in the middle of the node, roots popped out, and then eventually this little guy grew. This is definitely ready for planting. Depending on the species of plant, you can tell if it's ready for planting. If it's like the roots are kind of like over an inch long, you can see multiple parts of the roots. You want to get this into soil. And so yes, I should be planting this really, really soon. So this is my only Philodrendron Brasil I have right now. And as an example, you did see the end results where they're already growing. I propagated them, here they are. And that's pretty much it. And so in later videos, I'll go over how to go from this to this. It's not complicated at all. Plants want to survive. And so planting your rooted cuttings is a pretty easy process. But I'll go over the different types of medium to plant in, as well as some more propagation techniques and tips and tricks. Thank you so much for stopping by, and don't forget to let that plant magic rise.